Hey friends, welcome back. I am here with your energy reading. With this energy reading, I almost feel like there's maybe a few days for this, but it could also come back in November. This could come up. So, yeah, as always, the the messages here are you take it, free will. It's your free will to take it or not. If it resonates, by all means, I hope it is helpful. And let's go ahead and get started. Now, of course, I'll also say that I'm very much an outdoorsy person. So what you get here is what you get here. So I appreciate you being here if you've stuck around, and I'm just happy to provide any kind of support when it comes to moving your spirituality forward, moving your connection to your connection to your divine self and your divine strength going forward, or any direction that you want to go, honestly. So let's go ahead. I want to go ahead and do something a little bit different today. I've been doing a lot of cleansing today, mainly because I've just been energetically just having to kind of like remove some things, like move some things around, that kind of thing. So I went ahead and just kind of cleaned my space a little bit. Let's go ahead and look at the themes of the energy for the week. So, Spirit, can you give us a theme for the energy of the week? Actually, I don't know if I said the time frame of it, but we're just doing an energy reading. So this could have any kind of time frame. It could resonate this week, in the coming weeks, or even a couple of months from now. So let's see how the story plays out. What is the story that Spirit wants to share with us today? All right, Spirit, thank you. Wow. I feel like I've gotten this before. Interesting. Okay, we have the mountain, the cave, and the bridge. And as you all know, I haven't really put up any photos or anything of it. So recently I went to my own mountain, physical mountain. I attempted to climb Mount Rainier in Washington State, and I had a really great time. I learned a lot. A lot of people think that climbing a mountain is all about reaching the summit, and I think climbing a mountain is actually reaching and this is what my friends have told me, so I'm just gathering everything that I've learned. What I've learned is that reaching a summit is about reaching your own personal summit. It's about reaching the highest that you can go, and doing the best that you can to get to the highest point that you can. And I almost feel like that's kind of where we are in this collective. That same kind of analogy is here. We've worked very, very hard to get to the peak of where we are. And it's possible that there's something else that we're needing to go inside with the cave here. We're needing to go into depths. And it's almost unexpected, really, is what I'm sensing. It's an unexpected need to do a deep dive, and this is actually something that has come up in recent readings, which is it's just so interesting to see that we've gotten to our heights, and in the midst of that height, in the midst of that climb to the top, we're actually doing a deep dive into the self. We're going into the mountain because that's where caves are, right? The few caves that I've actually gone into have been, we've had to trek up a bit on a mountain in West Virginia in the United States, or we've just had to walk into a field and all of a sudden there was a cave. But in this case, there were a couple that we had to climb kind of midway up a mountain to actually get to the entrance of the cave. And so I feel as if we're getting to a certain point on our own personal journeys to the summit, right? Where we're needing to enter this cave. We're needing to explore a little bit deeper. I talk a lot about shadow work, and I'm finally, now that I am on the other side of this journey, this mountaineering journey, I'm finding that I can move now into more of the spiritual. There are so many things when you're on a specific journey that you pick up and you learn, but once you've come out of this, which I think is the bridge here, there is this understanding of, I had to go really, really deep, and now I need to find a way to the other side of this. I need to find a way to now connect my life before I climb the mountain and my life after I climb the mountain. And of course, that has to be the mountain, that has to be the cave, that has to be about this section here. This is what is building the bridge, this journey right here with the mountain and the cave. Okay, so go ahead and read about these archetypes. Wild Unknown Archetypes card, if I didn't say it before. Let's look at the mountain. Let's see. Wow. Look at that. They were all kind of in order too, kind of in the same section. The mountain, the cave, the bridge, they're all in this section of cards. Hold on. These are all places. These are all places. Okay. Let's see the mountain. The ascent, the peak, the insurmountable. The mountain stands eternally in our awareness, calling us toward its peak. It stirs up stoic and regal feelings, reminding us of the long line of spirits, sages, sadhus, and gods that made their humble thrones within its snowy peaks. Beware, though, as the mountain can affect us in two ways. It can inspire and enliven us to rise to new heights in peak experience. Yet it can also create isolation, competitiveness, and an inflated sense of self. Standing upon its heights can activate the purist and the perfectionist in us, creating separation from those we deem to be below. No matter how high you ascend, remember that it is within the core of the mountain that the gems, minerals, and jewels reside. If you think it's all about going up, you're following the fool's path and missing the miner's magic. Research mountains. Find one that strikes you and stare at it for a while. Where is it? The pilgrim may be awakening in you. The summit calls. Contemplate Joseph Campbell's suggestion. You are the central mountain, and the central mountain is everywhere. When this energy is in its light, you are grounded in the eternal, you're steadfast, and you are uplifting. But when the energy in it is in dark, it's ominous, daunting, isolating, and frigid. To go deeper, read Mary Oliver's The Poet Dreams of the Mountain. Yeah. I think when you are doing something as big as climbing a mountain, you are in fact discovering who you are in the process. And so I'll share, and I'm still learning, so there's still things that are coming up, but I understood what the mountain, or at least the attempt to climb it, was asking of me once I got into it and experienced it. And now that I know what something like this asks of me, I understand what it takes to climb a mountain, because quite honestly, it requires you to be your highest self, the highest version of you, the most expressive version of you, and that includes both the light and the dark parts of you. So let's go ahead and read the cave. And it's interesting, in the book and in numbering, the cave comes before the mountain, but here the mountain is coming first. So it's almost like, yeah, we're on this descent. We're on the descent from the mountain. And that, I think that's also the energy of transition. So let's read about the cave. The dark, the portal, the interior. Those who are fortunate enough to find and enter the cave are forever changed. It is a place of potent power, acting as both portal to another realm and a space for sacred ritual and initiation. The cave is a place to return for meaningful retreat, where one can see the true self in the darkness. In esoteric teachings, the cave is known to reside in the center of the heart. Within its walls, the whispers of compassion and self-understanding can be heard. Yet, because of its mystery and power, many of us fear the cave and never try to find it. We busy ourselves in the bright lights of the city, while the cavernous and dimly lit chamber calls out to us in the night. Where is your cave? You already know. Return to it and tend the fire. When this energy is in its light, this is the sacred center within. When it's dark, there is withdrawal, isolation, and hiding. To go deeper, I believe these might be either locations or paintings or something, but Lo Scarabeo, the Cave of Crystals, and the Blue Grotto. So I'll look those up and make sure that they're linked in the description box. Slowly and steadily, crystals of enormous magnitude grow within the dark confines of caves. Let the cave teach you patience. Envision yourself as an old sage in a cave. What amenities do you need? What draws you ever closer to the cave within the cave? All right, so I know you all probably heard me kind of laugh there in the middle when it mentioned, what was it? The cave is known to reside in the center of the heart. And it might be that you're having to go into the darker parts of your heart that have not been healed, explored, discovered, made known. And there is this energy, I think, in the in some of the planetary movements that are coming around. And again, like I'm still trying to learn astrology, but for me, when I'm looking at books and things like that, I've got tons of astrology books that I'm looking up, and it's a matter of like, I'm trying to find a pathway into it, but what I just end up doing is at least understanding what some of the things that are going on are going on. So there is this idea that there is a part of us that is being called upon, right, there's a part of us that is calling for us to discover it, right? There's a part of us in our heart that is calling to be discovered. It's calling to be, oh gosh, what's the word? It's just calling to be known, to be acknowledged. And I think some of the questions here what do you need? What draws you ever closer to the cave within the cave? Shadow work is this idea of getting brave enough to ask the part of us that maybe in childhood, in times of needed protection, or in times of maybe our deepest hurts, which you can also find in the self-help guide for tarot watchers, YouTube tarot watchers. But there is this idea that we have parts of us that need to be discovered, that need to be supported, and that need to be heard. There's a bridge here. There is something, the stronger aspects of us, we need to be basically the people that a part of us needed at a time when that part of us, maybe in the past or even on some other level, needed someone and someone wasn't there. So we have to now understand how to be that someone, right? How to be our own savior, how to be our own superhero, right? And it doesn't require a cape. It just requires close attention, close listening to the self, and asking the self, what is it that you needed, that you didn't get, that I can provide, so that we can live a healthy life filled with love and whatever joy or happiness looks like for us, right? Okay, let's go ahead and read the bridge. All right, the bridge. The bridge, the connection, the link, the gate. Bridges are built to connect two worlds. They create flow, allowing us to travel between realms, ideologies, and personalities. This archetype is the gesture of acceptance, of saying yes, rather than withdrawing, separating, and saying no. When we cross a bridge to an unknown land, we are led magically into a new reality. We open up to otherness. Healing and communication are made possible. We enter a state of curiosity, wonder, and learning. The shaman, for example, creates the bridge between the everyday world and the sacred. This card asks us to study the connections between the seemingly disconnected parts of our life, relationships, ideologies, and histories. Remember that a bridge can't be forced. It must be made with love, or its structure will not withstand the inevitable weather of life. Yeah. I think that's what is here, is connecting the parts of ourselves that we might have disconnected from. So the memories of, rejection or abandonment, or the memories of having lost early on, that kind of thing, that creates a disconnection. And so now it is time to build a bridge and accept those parts of us that we can say yes to. So I think it's interesting too. It's an idea of instead of saying yes, the energies that are coming forward, instead of saying yes, externally, it's saying yes internally. Yes to healing the self. Yes to acknowledging the parts of the self, right? That have been disconnected, the parts of life, our lives that have been disconnected. It's time. I'm going to read the rest here. So when this energy is in its light, there is acceptance, magic, and communication. When it's dark, there's a lack of boundaries and forcing connection. To go deeper, read about Bifrost, the burning rainbow bridge of Norse mythology. All right, so I'll link about that in the description. Imagine building a bridge, then imagine building a wall. Which energy is needed for the situation at hand? Which image softens and heals the heart? Lie on the floor and listen to Bridge Over Troubled Water. Notice the ease and acceptance within the melody, the feeling of rising above the muck. Wow. Okay. So, now that we have our understanding of the energy of the week, I'm going to go ahead and pull out tarot here. Let's get a reading going. These cards were moving around as I was trying to record a previous version, and I was like, what in the world? Why are the cards moving? Okay. This is my Dream Enchantress Tarot deck. And I'll go ahead and get a few cards out here. All right, Spirit. Can you give us some cards? And give us, whoa, here we go. Wow. Queen of Wands in reverse. 2 cards out here. We've got the Page of Cups and the Devil. And we have the 3 of Swords in reverse. Whoops, that fell out. And the 8 of Pentacles. Let's see. What else we got here, Spirit? All right. Those came out together. Actually, these 2 cards, I don't know. I feel like they came out in the reverse, but I can't remember. I'll see if I can just get into the energy. Okay, what do we have at the bottom of the deck? We have 7 of Wands at the bottom of the deck. All right. So, let me get this stood up here. Make sure you all can see those. Okay. All right. I think we got it there. Put this over here. Okay. All right, so the overall here would say that this process, going through this, may feel like a temporary weakening. I'll say that. You might feel as if you no longer have an advantage, but I also sense that this is also being capable of letting your defenses down in order to go into yourself. So instead of like looking externally and projecting, you know, what we think or what we believe, this is actually like, let's pull it inward. I mean, the intention with all of my readings are to, let's pull it inward and see how we can look at ourselves. And that right there in itself is shadow work, right? That's the beginning of shadow work, is being willing to go within, right? And I think here it's too, you know, a lot of times people look at mountains and they think, oh my gosh, that's so daunting. And it's the same with going into the self. That's so daunting. We are the central mountain, and the central mountain is all around, right? You are a mountain. You have to care about yourself and about the way that you work, and you have to be unapologetic about what your needs are and how, and you have to be unapologetic about how you need to move and how you need to expand. And sometimes you have to shake a little bit off of you. You have to be like a mountain, right? It's daunting. It's daunting to think of yourself in that way. But if we take the time, and again, I just feel like the 7 of Wands in the reverse is, you're almost scared to do that inner work, because who's going to look out for you? Who's going to pay the bills? Who's going to, you know, who's going to wash the dishes? Who's going, you know what I mean? It's like, who's going to take care of everything else while you do this? And it feels like you're dropping this kind of defense mechanism like, think about it. You're living as if you are in defense mode. How is that? And I see it here in the Queen of Wands in reverse. It's this idea of, having to leave the comfort of things that you know in order to go into these things that you don't quite know anything about, that you don't understand, that you can't quite wrap your head around. It's about leaving the comfort zone. And really, it's almost like with this Page of Cups and the upright and the Devil, it's about acceptance. I mean, I see this Page of Cups going toward this Devil. This is about wanting to accept the parts of you that maybe found yourself giving to toxic people or toxic situations over and over and over again. You're inviting in this cup of love to really take a look at your own demons, really. And I say demons, but demons are the things that we allow to have power over the things that we do or the way that we act. People pleasing is a demon, right? That's a demon. Because when we get into that excessive use of people pleasing, where do we, question? Where do we always find ourselves, right? That's just a question for you. I know what it feels like for me when I'm overdoing it. I feel it in my body. I know what it feels like for me. I'll just put it that way. But here, there is a definite need to let go and get kind of like, this is a bravery. This is brave, whatever it is. This willingness to let down your guard. This is a willingness to let down your guard and attempt to accept the toxic parts about yourself. The Three of Swords in reverse. I'll tell you, I think the Three of Swords in reverse here is really, oh my goodness. I feel like this is not rediscovering. This is loosening ideals, releasing some ideals, releasing expectations, releasing thought patterns that even got you into these, again, going back to the Devil, into these toxic situations. And I feel as if this bridge here, the way that this is lining up, is when you release those old ideals, what you're actually now looking at is, how do you create this Eight of Pentacles upright? How do you, when you release these ideals and, these logic, honestly, these are defenses. Again, these are defensive thoughts. When you release those defensive thoughts, how do you pick up patterns that will actually be some things that are creative and fruitful and healthy and repeatable and beautiful, and so on and so on and so on. That's what the Eight of Pentacles upright is about. And then we have the Two of Swords, which is, once you understand the difference, there's the Three of Swords in reverse, what you're releasing certain thoughts and ideals and logic and things that are just keeping you stuck, right? You're now understanding that you have a choice to co-create. You have a choice. You understand what free will is. You understand your choice, and that you have a choice. to pick whether or not you want to do X, Y, or Z, right? Okay, let's go ahead and get some guidance for you. And these cards also came out, and I've been using these. These are, I can't remember, I think they're called Awake cards. I can't remember. I got them from the bookstore. They're very generic. But I want to use them to kind of pull out some words that might help you on your journey. But I also think I'm going to try and do a shamanic dream, or yeah, one of the shamanic decks too. That was calling. All right. Okay. All right, Spirit, do you have any? Thank you. Yeah, totally. Reflect. It's time to reflect. I think that's what this month even is all about. And speaking of month, I do have to do the monthly readings. Let's see. Ceremony. There's a full moon coming up. It'd be good to like have you all do a ceremony of some sort. And I think I'll just take those for now. At the bottom of the deck, we also have Dream. So you might want to take a look at any dreams that might be coming up for you. I know they've been very, very, wow, like out of this world for me. Okay, let's see, we're at 30. Is that 31 minutes? Okay, awesome. All right, so let's get some guidance. Spirit, do you have any messages for the collective for this energy reading? Do you have any messages for the collective for this energy reading? Oops. All right, one more time. I'll just shuffle this. Oops, one more time. And if that's the message, I mean, that's the message, Spirit. I'll take it. Thank you so much for showing up today. The Rainmaker. Okay. Awesome. Let's go ahead and read the Rainmaker. Yeah, I think this entire reading is about, you know, what is it when a farmer is, you know, wiping the slate of a previous crop to get it ready, you know, to kind of like rid the energy of the previous crop and get it ready for a new crop. I can't remember, I don't know, I cannot remember what that's called. And I don't know if I ever knew the name, but I think that's what this reading is all about. So let's go ahead and read the Rainmaker. The essence. Let's hold this up so you all can see it. The essence. The Rainmaker is master of manifestation, who can call on the elements of nature to serve the greater good. When the power to co-create, which is this final card in our reading, co-creation, I get that sense from this card. There's a co-creation aspect and there's also a choice aspect. But I feel very greatly that this is about co-creation. When the power to co-create is used with integrity, great beauty and benefit flow to all. When this power is used for personal gain only, everyone suffers. When the earth is parched, the earth is parched. What did I say about the farmer and clearing the previous field for the next crop? When the earth is parched, the Rainmaker calls the waters from the heavens, and all that is dormant in the fields and in people's hearts springs to life again. The invitation. The Rainmaker is calling you to create something new from the elements that are already in your life. Be sure you work with what is and not with what might be or could have been. The seeds that have been silently germinating in your heart will burst forth ready for the sunlight. Do not hold back. Put all your chips on the next roll of the divine dice. Yeah, I think this is coming out of, while this is, yes, reflection, I think this is also moving out of reflection, right? And when I say reflect, I mean, there's parts of this reading that seem like this is rumination. This is not ruminating on the past. This is actually ruminating on the parts of yourself and who you were in the past, and finally recognizing what you needed in those moments so that you're not continually beating yourself up or having defensive reactions or finding yourself, doing the things that you thought you needed to do even then to protect yourself and get the safety and love and care that you needed, that should have been provided to you, right? So yeah, this is really beautiful. I am getting ready to open my books up for shadow sessions. Yeah, if you're interested, let me know via my website, and I look forward to speaking with you. All right, talk to you soon.